Thing one tonight, Donald Trump's propensity to hire the wrongest people in the world. People like Kevin Hassett, co-author of the book Dow 36,000, which triumphantly promised in 1999 the Dow Jones Industrial Average would hit 36,000 mark within 5 years. It was only off by about 26,000 points. Now he's Trump's chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. Then there's Larry Kudlow, the CNBC guy who famously said shortly before the financial crisis that GOP economic policy will continue the Bush boom for years to come. Trump made him director of the National Economic Council. These guys insisted, of course, that Trump's tax cuts would not explode the deficit, and so naturally, the government just posted the largest monthly budget deficit in American history, at least in nominal terms. Sometimes being that wrong is just right for Trump, which would make his latest nominee a perfect fit. That's thing two in 60 seconds. Donald Trump's new nominee to sit on the board of the Fed does not necessarily hold all the credentials you want from someone in that position, although he did co-author a book called Trumponomics, and he's fairly well known for getting owned on cable TV shows.
Both of the rate hikes were unnecessary and have caused a deflation in the economy. And I think
there is no.
Wait.
I want to stop you there. Because you said this last time I was on with you. There is no deflation.
There is.
There is not. That was Stephen Moore being wrong about the state of the economy. But being wrong a lot has had few consequences for Moore, although he does hold the distinction of being banned from the pages of one Midwestern newspaper for using misleading numbers in his writing. Recently, Moore wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal insisting that the Fed is a threat to growth. And reportedly, Larry Kudlow saw this, showed the op-ed to the president. Trump's reported response was, "Why don't we make him Fed chair?" Too late for that, so Kudlow suggested Trump can name him to one of the open seats. And now the man whom Republican economist Greg Mankiw says does not have the intellectual gravitas for the job is up for Senate consideration. Moore has long cast himself as a real expert on the Fed, has even called for the firing of current Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the rest of the Fed board. Now that he's poised to join them, he doesn't suddenly sound so expert anymore.
I'm kind of new to this game, frankly, so I'm going to be on a steep learning curve myself about how the Fed operates, how the Federal Reserve makes its decisions, and this is a real exciting opportunity for me.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.